I'd have loved to put Anthony Yard on, but unfortunately, I can't risk him fighting at the moment. Joe Smith is fighting Berbietev for the unification fight in a cup in about 8 weeks' time. He's got the winner, so I don't want to get him getting injured. I'd love to put him on there, and even if he was going to be on there, I'd give him a pretty easy job because I don't want him risking that position, and I'd have probably got some stick over that. Daniel Dubois, I'd love him to have been on the undercard, but unfortunately, he's now, it's fortunate for him, he's got the WBA heavyweight title fight, which has gone to Perspid, so he can't be on there. And I'd love to him got the exposure on the card. Joe Joyce has got a broken wrist. I can't get him on there. Hamza Shiraz, who I'd love to everybody to have seen again on there, is Ramadan, so he can't box. So that's where we are. So what we've done is make some real good quality fights that will be good fights to watch.
What's good, family? Shout out to my doggy, Ahmed M, for boosting up your man the YB's dire. Stressful coin situation right now, no doubt. So, here we go then. Some much awaited news. All the shite man fans. Oh, YB, you've been paid, mate. YB, you ain't doing a video on the Fury versus shite awful undercard. Listen, let me tell you funny style shite, wanna be looking ass, third wifey, polyamorous, all them kind of things that, yeah, you man are in love with Shillian. And that's what you wanna worry about. Sorting out your deep-seated issues, psychologically speaking, why you wanna be married and nosh a man off who you never met before. But more specifically to this video, let's address the claims. Oh, YB, the undercard, everyone, no word of a lie, yeah. I've never heard people so hard, or so, so enraged, or so orgasmic, yeah? You man sound like you're about to bust over this undercard. Oh, yeah? That's what it sounds like. Bunch of sexually frustrated cats. Oh, YB, the undercard, oh! I've never heard something so mad before in my life, the way you man are carrying on. Oh, YB's being paid. Oh, listen, like I said, what you know about the YB is, I judge things on a case-by-case basis. Having said that though, what else we know about the YB is, have you ever seen the YB do a video on anyone's undercard? No. In fact, have you ever seen the YB do a reaction video to any of the bum-ass undercard fights? No. In reality, yeah, you're lucky to get me to do a main event card, for example. When Space Raider fought Kiko Martinez, I even do that one. Why? I don't care. Oops. Do you understand? So now, if you think, bear in mind, I don't cover Warrington versus Martinez, and that's just one example recently. There's a whole bunch of other main headliners I don't cover. I don't watch bum-ass fights. And with that in mind, is this card A1? Absolutely not. But I'm telling you now, this undercard is no different to the rest of them. And how it's no different is, I don't care and I don't watch any of them. Yeah, I've no word of a lie, I've missed half of fights before, or I've woke up and missed fights before, because literally, if I know a fight's on at 10, I'll log on at 10 past 10, so that I can I don't want to watch the walkouts, I don't want to watch them buffer dudes just woofing for 10 minutes, all I want to do is watch the 40 minutes of fighting, that's it. I'm not interested in the show. I'm not interested in the fireworks. I'm not interested in seeing Anthony Johnson walk out and kiss a whole bunch of grandma-looking asses. All I'm interested in is watching the headline fight. That's the start of it, and that's the end of it. So please spare me all this woofing. And like I said before, the way you man are carrying on is suspect. I've never heard anyone mention an undercard before, never. Especially not for a fight of this magnitude. It makes no sense. Why? Well, this fight is big. This fight's at Wembley because of this fight. I've got goofy dons. To be fair, I'm not even going to blame all the shite man fans. It's not just you man. There was some goofy talk sport cat, Spencer Oliver, I think. He was on there saying, oh, yeah. In fact, it's not this. In fact, all of you man, all the shite man fans as well, saying, oh, Frank shot himself in the foot because it's going to really affect pay-per-view sales. What you think? Let's say, for example, what could be the best fights they could put on the undercard? Joe Joyce versus someone? Anthony Yardy versus someone? You think people are going to buy a pay-per-view? I'm telling you now, Anthony Yard fighting someone, or Dubois fighting someone, or Joyce fighting someone, genuinely wouldn't add one more pay-per-view. Because the pay-per-view game is marginal in as much as to add pay-per-views, people need to be able to say, well, I wouldn't watch Fury versus White, but I would watch Yard or Dubois versus someone. Do you understand? That's what you have to be able to say. Because I'm telling you now, anyone, or everyone who wants to watch Fury versus White is going to be buying it anyway. Do you understand? So you'd literally need Mayweather versus Pacquiao to be on the undercard to increase the pay-per-views. Otherwise, it's not going to hit the threshold. So all that whole narrative of, no one's going to watch it. People who are going to watch it are going to watch it. No undercard has ever inspired people to increase pay-per-views. Not once, I'm afraid. That's just how it is. Now, if you're putting on bum cards, like DAZN does, bum average cards, which don't even have... Like Eddie Hearn's recently been putting on a lot of cards which are just average the whole way through. So is Frank Warren, so is everyone. But recently, or there's been a lot... I think, bottom line is, boxing's oversaturated. There's been way too much of just average shows. I don't get this. I don't know what happened. About a year ago, or a few years ago, when Eddie Hearn signed with DAZN, all of a sudden there became a fascination with having a show every week. Eddie Hearn would be jumping around talking about apples and pears and we've got 52 shows this week, or I think it was even 54 at one point. I think Eddie Hearn was saying, we've got 54 shows and there's not even enough weeks in the year. I don't get it myself. In my opinion, you'd be much better off putting on one banger a month of actual quality than a bunch of just soft-ass shows that no one care about. That's just what it is. And like I said, I don't care about no undercard. That's the bottom line here. I don't care. Am I going to watch any of the undercard? No. Did I watch any of AJ versus Klitschko undercard? No. Did I watch any other undercard? No. I don't watch undercard fights. Tell a lie. I think maybe Lawrence Okolie's been on an undercard before. That's one. That's it. Unless there's something super interesting, which is very rare for any undercard, I ain't interested. But YB, it's different because this is a stadium fight. Listen, I've watched a whole bunch of AJ Big O2 fights. In fact, I've even watched... Let's talk about Shilly and Shite. Let's talk about the man in question. Shite fought Povetkin recently. You man tell me who was on their undercard then? Yeah, when Shite fought Povetkin, who was on the undercard? Since you man are so involved now in undercards, and that's the problem you see, you man don't even know. I guarantee you off the top of your head, you couldn't tell me who was on both White versus Povetkin undercards. No one has got any clue who's on there. And it's as simple as that. So just be consistent here. People don't care about the undercards. They're all dead. That's why it's called an undercard. Yeah? Now, I mean, Frank is a promoter. He's got to do what he's got to do. So, objectively speaking, on a case-by-case basis speaking, since you man have brought it up, and that's, to be honest with you, I shouldn't even be mentioning this, because it's irrelevant. I don't even talk about undercards. But is this undercard banging? No, it's not. Frank Warren was saying, it's a great it's not, it's a crap undercard, but they're all crap, is my point. Yeah. Frank Warren's doing what everyone does. Eddie Hearn says he's got a great undercard, and it's crap. It makes no... but why beat this one's at Wembley? And AJ's fought a whole bunch of people at Wembley. AJ fought who? He fought Usyk at Wembley. Who was on the AJ versus Usyk undercard? I can't tell you one other fight off the top of my head. And even if I looked at it, I bet there was a bunch of bums on there. And rightfully so, because no one care about bum fights on undercards. And that's what gets me the most, how people... You man are desperate to try and make this event a failure. It's embarrassing. Bear in mind the history, i.e. how many fights White's had that have had bum undercards, how many fights AJ's had that have had bum undercards. Now we've got a genuine, interesting fight. Your man don't turn up to the press conference, and you try and tell me about, this event's over. If this event's over, the only reason it would be so is because your man's ain't taking part in it. And in fact, on that note, I find it ironic that you man flip-flop all over the place. 1 minute you say, Frank Warren's overpaid, he's stupid. If Frank Warren was stupid, and he's stupid because he overpaid, why are you speaking out of both sides of your mouth? You can't have it both ways. Sporting shite cons. Chilean Shite, second alleged wife, was out here, or even to this day, talks about, yeah, Frank Warren's stupid, Eddie Hearn's so smart. Yeah, Eddie Hearn's so smart, Frank Warren's overpaid by loads. So if Frank Warren's overpaid by loads, how can you expect him to put on a massive undercard? Oops. So make your mind up, what is it? Do you want Frank to overpay or underpay and put a great undercard on? Or, you can't win. Yeah? So I suggest what you want to do is, since you man are so interested in the undercard, why don't you pick the phone up and say, listen Chilean Shite, the undercard's weak. Why don't you hand back the 2 mil that Frank Warren's giving you extra, and Frank Warren can plump up some of this undercard that you're so desperately interested in. Oops, you ain't gonna do that. Yeah, and look at the other things that are going on as well. I.e., Chilean Shite himself. People criticising the undercard. How can Frank think about it? If Chilean Shite was turning up and getting involved, Frank Warren would be a lot more inclined to take some more risk. Don't forget, people, Frank Warren has taken a lot of financial risk here. I think he's going to knock it out of the park, personally. Why? Because I believe the break-even numbers are around 1 million pay-per-views. That's where this event breaks even. I believe this event's going to do 2 million pay-per-views. That's my base case. Why? Well, AJ versus Ruiz 2 did like 1.8, I think, or something like that. This event's bigger than that. Much more interesting of a fight, to be quite frank. This will do 2 million in my opinion. So it's going to knock out the park anyway. But like Frank says, we don't know that. Yeah? And when you've got uncertainty and you've put a lot of money into the fight, where do you think money comes from? Especially when Chilean Shite isn't doing his part. Yeah, the risk has gone up when one side of the fight isn't turning up to events, is threatening pulling out, etc, etc. So wait there a minute, all you people who were criticising Frank for being stupid for overpaying for the main event, you're now wanting to be even more stupid and double down and put on a whole bunch of massive undercard fights so that then your man Dillian cannot turn up. Imagine that. Imagine, yeah, Frank Warren did max out the undercard, yeah, and then Dillian ends up not turning up. So Frank Warren's got a huge undercard bill, and then the main event hasn't even come through, so the pay-per-view is going to flop. You man will be laughing, oh yeah, Frank Warren loses 20 million. Ha, how stupid. He paid 10 mil for the undercard, and now he's down 50 mil. And that shows you when I talk about man fans. When I talk about people who ain't got who haven't got no objectivity, all they want to do is suck off the don they love. And you man are embarrassing. You just love to suck. You speak out of all the sides of your mouth. Well, you speak out of whatever side of your mouth's left, whichever side ain't got Chilean schlong in it, yeah? It's embarrassing. Oh, Frank Warren's stupid, but then again, Frank Warren should invest and spend more money. Even though I said he was stupid for spending too much already, he should spend more. Even though Dillian ain't even doing his part. You man are all over the place, super messy, and this shows you the hatred and the lack of love for the sport. People aren't in, or these dons, yeah, who are trying to try and find an angle here, yeah, they're not in love with the sport. They're in love with noshing their favourite man off. They love their man more than anything. They stick by their man, and to some extent, I respect the loyalty. You man are like old-time females. Genuinely, in 2022, I'd be lucky to find a female as loyal and committed to the cause as you, man. 100%. Part of me thinks I want to turn to the other side and just become on the DL with Chilean and AJ. That's how I'm feeling right now. I kind of get it. I kind of get why Dillian White and Anthony Johnston are operating on the DL. Because you can't find no love like a man fan's love. That's just what it is. I've never seen anything like it, yeah? You man are in love. Like it used to be back in the 1500s. Yeah, but then when women's was loyal. Super duper loyal. 100%. I need some of that loyal loving as well. That loyal man. There's nothing, listen, like I told you before, there's nothing like a loyal man loving. 100%. But listen, bottom line is, yeah, like I said before, don't no one care about the undercard. I had some goofy tell me, oh, I'm not watching this. You ain't gonna do. That's what you're not gonna do. Wait a minute. So you're not gonna watch. Just think about the logic here. You're not gonna watch Fury versus White because there isn't a great. Explain that logic to me. I don't get that. Like I said, Anyone who's interested in Fury versus White, the fight is sold. There is actually no marginal value of having a packed out undercard. Undercards don't add value. Everyone who's going to watch Fury versus White, that's where the sales are made. That's the start of it and the end of it. Yeah? And for me, like I said before, they're all crap undercards. I don't watch any of the undercards, so I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less honestly, if I was doing things, there wouldn't be an undercard. I'd just rock up at 9 o'clock. Let's crack on. Oops. That's what I'll be doing. I don't get the point in it. But obviously I understand from a commercial or from a kind of operational point of view, you've got up and coming talents who are coming up the pipeline and you want to put them on. I get that part, but apart from that, apart from the boxing pipeline, there's no benefit whatsoever. Yeah? A quick hour event. Let's boom this one on quickly. Now what I will say is, I actually believe boxing should be going down more of a social element, in as much as I think the undercard should have been Fury versus White as the headline, John Fury versus Mickey Theo, YB versus Tyrone, for example. That's what it should be. Yeah, that's popping. Ain't no one trying to watch these bum ass fights. That's what I think they should be doing from now on. From now on, get rid of all these bum ass dudes that no one care about, and let's put on some big social. And I'm not saying, obviously, we're all still small fry relatively, but these are exciting and competitive matchups. All these bum ass dudes like Isaac Lowe and Timmy Fury, they're all bums. Yeah, and that's the fact that it is a bum undercard, but they're all bum undercards. Is the point here, people? And what I want you man to do from now on, keep the same energy, yeah? Because again, when AJ fought in Ruiz in the rematch, he made 100 mil. I can't tell you one undercard fight, and no one complained. Yeah, and when AJ fights Usyk again, make sure you man, I want to hear all you man with your wicks out, rubbing them off to how good or bad the undercard is. I had some goofy tell me, oh, but YB, this guy is on the undercard. I don't know who that is, bruv. I don't know who he is. Oh, but YB, AJ had this one don that I've never heard of before. I don't know him. Oops. Oh, but YB, what about this guy? I don't know any of these bum guys. I don't watch them. But for all you cats who are super interested into watching bum-ass dudes fight, good for you. I'm not interested. So please don't try and pass the buck to me. Oh, YB, why aren't you talking about another bum undercard? Yeah? You man are super confused. 100%. But I get it, because when you've been put into the position that Shillian's put you man in, you've got nowhere to hide, in as much as you've got nothing else to talk about, because your man's gone missing. He's lost his tongue. Tyson Fury's pulled his tongue out of his bonds. Yeah? Tyson Fury sat there, yeah, pushed Shillian's nose back and just pulled his tongue right out of his bonds for him. So it's no surprise that you man are clinging, trying to clutch to anything you can, any narrative you can, to try and keep some momentum going for your dons. Sorry, for your man lover. Yeah? Oh, whoa, wait there a minute, look, there's an undercard. Oh, let's jump on that because our man's lost his voice and let's try and drum up some controversy. So again, I respect your man's loyalty. I've never seen you man protect Shillian like a lioness protects her cubs. 100%. You best bet it's super loyal. Yeah, 100, no doubt about that. And in fact, lastly, what I want to say is, on this narrative, is the fact that the reason at the start of this video I played the Frank Warren clip is because he's made some valid points, putting everything else to one side. Frank Warren says Anthony Yardy has a big fight coming up. He can't do it. Daniel Dubois has a big fight coming up. And by the way, people, these are all facts as well. This wasn't Frank Warren just woofing. These are facts. The facts are, we all know Daniel Dubois just had a WBA purse bid thing. He's out. He's got his own show to do. He's out. Yeah, Anthony Yardy, same thing. World Championship. He's out. Joe Joyce, injury. He's out. So, what do you want? Jared Anderson, injured. So, what do you want Frank to pull? And who? Yeah, you might need to explain. Who exactly do you want Frank to pull out of his ass? Be realistic here. Never mind the money part of things. Never mind the fact that no one cares anyway. Even if we are being practical, there ain't no one left in the stable. Realistically. So on that basis, I'm not saying that Frank Do I believe Frank would have? Do I believe Frank really cares about putting on a fight undercard? No, I don't. Because guess what? The fans don't care. But even if he wanted to put a fight undercard on, he ain't got the inventory at the moment. Everyone else booked up. And really, this fight was made on somewhat short notice. It was done within about 3 months. Which for this scale of fight, normally these things happen over like 8 months or 6 months out. They get booked in. It happened super quick, which meant that normal or smaller fighters had their own things going on at a particular point in time. But yeah, listen, end of the day, it's not going to make no difference to the ticket sales. If anything, like I said, I wouldn't even mention the undercard. I'd just crack on with the headline, bottom line, and I think that's a model. Well, again, really, they have to have a funnel to get put the younger ones on. But apart from the funnel, ain't no one care. And if you care, again, that's good for you. Me, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care when Eddie Hearn puts on a bum undercard. You've never heard me mention no undercard, ever. Because I don't care, I don't watch them. Get that into your bonces. I don't watch them. I set an alarm and I wake up 5 minutes before it starts. And that's the end of that. Because I've told you before, I don't watch bum fights. Get it in your bonds. I don't. People think I'm joking. I don't watch them. I'm not interested. Oh, and the thing is, it's funny how you get it both ways. Because I tell people, I am a casual. I watch big fights. That's it. Next thing you know, I've got goofy dudes who have been calling me casual for all these years, now saying, YB, why aren't you doing a video on the hardcore undercard? What? You said I was a casual. You man say I'm a chavvy Devon casual. So why would the chavvy Devon casual give two hoots about some undercard he ain't gonna watch and would never watch anyway? Get serious. Yeah? Most of the time, if and when something happens, I end up going back and watching the highlights of it. So if some massive upset happens, like the few times I've seen Timmy Fury get his head boxed off, yeah, the few times I've seen Tommy Fury go life and death, I've actually gone back and watched them fights on the replay, on the BT replay. I don't watch them live, because I don't care. Oops. 100%. But Frank Warren, he got this game on lock right now. Fury versus White, or Fury versus whoever. It's been shut down. Wembley, shut down. Yeah, he doing bits right now. Yeah, you trust me. Your man Tyson Fury, he keeping the streets on lock. He got them fed. The whole streets are fed by Team Fury right now. No doubt about that. 100%.